Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to take a look at this plan that I developed when I first got laid off. This was the very first day when I was just kind of talking through my feelings, and then we created on this next page a plan for working and a plan for working out. And so we're just going to go back and review this and look through everything and make some refinements here on these. So one of the things that I wanted to show is that everything that I had in the tasks for work and in the immediate personal tasks, all of those things have been taken care of with the exception of reviewing the Cobra letter because I haven't received that yet. And then in the ongoing tasks, I've been using this to kind of make some notes on upcoming interviews and make sure that I'm sending the documents that they've requested, um, in that uh, capacity. So I've had 2 interviews already. They went well. I think that I'll probably in the next week be called for a second round of interviews, at least with one of the companies, after they had time to review all the documents that I sent over after the interview. Uh, in this, I just kind of every once in a while when I'm meditating or just need a break for a minute, I will just kind of visually look at this word dream and let my brain kind of take in whatever it wants from this page. I have been doing some of these things. I have been taking my morning coffee outside. I've been making sure I have time to film my YouTube videos. I haven't made as much art as I would like to, but I'm doing that still. I'm noticing that these questions are coming up in my mind during interviews to ask about some of the different things um, that I would be taking on in a new position. I notice that I am focusing more on things that I've written here. And so then we get to kind of the meat of this, which is where I did the actual day-to-day plan. So first, my first order of business was to revise all of my documentation. So I did revise my resume. I updated my LinkedIn. I went in and did a new banner. I did some new wording throughout that. It matches my resume a bit more, and they both focus a bit more on creativity and less on kind of the technical uh, aspects. And then my portfolio as well, I added in all of the work, more my recent work. Um, since I update it once a year, I really only had to add some things from 2025. So that's a good tip for you guys. If you are working and you haven't found yourself in this situation, yay, happy for you. Uh, but also keep everything up to date so that you can really hit the ground running should you ever find yourself in this situation. So I did connect with the local AAA. I reached out to recruiters that I know. Um, I have applied to 6 jobs every single day, been getting my resume and everything out there. I checked for the local chamber events. There wasn't anything upcoming that said that it allowed the public, but I did connect with their Facebook page. So I am, I have them on the radar. I did ask some of my LinkedIn contacts for references and recommendations, and I talked to a few people. And so I have been taking care of doing all of this. And that has net me some interviews, some additional requests. I have 2 people that want to set up interviews, but are out of town until the middle of next week. Um, so I've had 2 interviews. I have at least 2 more that I know are going to happen. And then both the companies that I already interviewed with said that they will get back to me shortly. And then, so this has been going well. The job search has been going very well. The wellness portion is a little bit rockier. This is not necessarily my forte. I'm not a fan of the gym. And so I originally had that I was going to research exercises and such and devote 30 minutes a day of going to the gym. What I ended up doing is giving that task to my son. Um, he is very into fitness and has come up with fitness programs for a couple of his siblings, his dad, some other family members, and everybody has been seeing great results from that. It's just a hobby of his, something that he enjoys. So he did put together a plan for me. I am not ready for that plan yet. He considers me a bit more physically fit than I actually am. So I'm going to have to do some modifications on that. So I sent him over some things, asked him to modify a few things. So he's working on that for me. I did find the gym on Wednesday. I went and I didn't have a lot of time. Um, and I'll explain why later. I had gone in the afternoon instead of the morning, and I didn't have a lot of time to do that. So I just went, I did some stretching, and found the gym, found out where all of the things are that I'm going to want to be using. And then I sent a video to my son of the equipment that was available in the area that I want to be doing my working out. So he will revisit this and find and figure out a plan for me based on that particular equipment. I think I will cut that down to 2 days a week, and it'll probably be Tuesday and Thursday instead. And then I will find maybe some yoga that I can do on the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So anyway, that's what's happened with that. So I'm going to revise this by a lot. I have not been getting up as early as I would like. Um, I haven't been sleeping really well, and so I haven't been waking up as early as I should. So I just need to be a bit more disciplined with myself this week on that. The hypnosis and meditation, I'm going to mark that off because I did put that into my calendar, but it has not happened at lunchtime. So I put in that I wanted it to happen at lunch. That's not working well. So I need to find a different time also for that. Devising a better meal planning strategy. I haven't even really thought about this. Quite frankly, I just don't have the bandwidth for it right now. I do have yogurt at the desk for lunch, so that's good. The quick and easy is good, but it's hard to find quick and easy and healthy. And so I haven't actually done anything with that. Frozen meal options, I do have those in the freezer ready to go, and we have used a couple of those this week. I do have canned food options on my shelf. We use those a little less frequently. Those will come into play more in the winter. So I'm going to put more in winter because on the shelf I have things like chili and spaghetti, and those are things that I enjoy more in the winter. And I do want to find quick, easy options. So I'm going to put an arrow through this that I'm carrying that forward because it's not at the forefront of my brain, and I'm just not ready, I don't think, to put it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to my future me problems. I'm going to put develop quick and easy weekly meal plans. I think that I was just taking on too much. Everything's kind of in upheaval. My schedule is in upheaval, and I've just been trying to do too much. So by moving this to the future me problems, it is still something that I want to tackle. But I think right now, where I'm at and what I have already in my meal planning is fine. It's sufficing. We're eating every day. We're not eating out as much So it's working fine. Um, I can tweak it to make it healthier later on. The sleeping 8 hours. So I don't fall asleep at 10. I've been trying to make myself go to sleep earlier, and I end up laying awake at night. It's triggering insomnia. So I'm going to cross that out, and I'm going to write in here that that triggers insomnia. And I'm going to write today's date because that might not always be the case, but I want to remember why I crossed that out. So, and when I crossed that out. So the sleep by 10 thing is not really good. I think a sleep by 11 is probably going to be more realistic. And then my body is not going to revolt so much and keep me awake. So the nighttime routine is fine. I don't have a problem with that. The no screens, the brushing the teeth, and the reading. Yes, I like this. So again, this is kind of a working document. As we're looking through this, you see I'm adding a lot to things. I'm adding notes about what worked. I'm adding notes about what didn't. And so this all works well. I like this. I'm fine with this. The waking up at 6, let's put a question mark because I can't sleep 8 hours if I go to bed at 11 and wake up at 6, maybe 7. Okay. But I think I'm not going to be really strict on this yet. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on trying to be asleep by 11. And then see what that does for me. You know, how long does my body want to sleep? Let's try and figure that out and go at it from that direction. I have always been a nighttime person, so for me, I have way more energy at 1 o'clock in the morning than I do at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, even, but certainly than I do at 8 o'clock in the morning. So switching to switching my body to a schedule that it really doesn't like. I've always had to do that for work, and I always end up feeling like I don't get enough sleep during the work week, and then I end up having to sleep more on the weekends to make up for that, which means that I don't get as much free time and enjoyable time on the weekends. So I would really, really like to train my body to get to sleep a little bit earlier, and that way I will hopefully be able to wake up and be fresh. So we're going to move to this. This is the next blank page. If you weren't with me before when we did this subscription swatching, I will link the video up in the whichever corner it is. I think it's going to be that corner that they show up in for this. But I am going to go ahead and put in a revised plan. So I'm going to use this new kind of work brainstorming washi that I got this week. So if you didn't see it, it came right here in this subscription. So I think it's great to get a chance to use it right away. We'll put that right there. And I know we talked about the fact that I cut off the end of this little emoji. It's actually not bothering me at all. So we'll put that in there. And then I'm going to, I kept these stickers out from the subscription so that I can kind of highlight some of the things that I'm thinking through. So we'll keep those here so I can make everything look cute. So we've looked at what works and what doesn't, but we need to refine the plan because at this point, I am really not going back much to look at this because I've done most of these things. I'm really only keeping track of interviews here. And then I'm really not looking at back at this because again, I've done all of these things. And so I need a new spread, something fresh that's going to keep me accountable. So first thing that I want to do is the job search. So let's look at this week in the weekly to see what colors. Maybe let's get, because these colors I know match this spread. So let's look at these colors for, let's do blue, the 526. I think that's this one. And yellow, how about that? The 991. All right, so we got some colors. Do not leave your fountain pens uncapped like I just did, just sitting around if you're not going to be writing with them, because that actually is not really good for them. They might dry up. The TWSBI I found typically don't, so I'm not as worried about it, but it's not a good habit to get into. So let's put, I would like somewhere here to track my job applications for the week. So, what information do I want to know? That's one of my big questions that I'm going to have here. Let's see. I was in the back of the book, I have written how many spaces vertically and how many spaces horizontally. So, my goal is 6 applications, and I'm going to have per day, and I'm going to have 5 days. So I think I'm going to leave space to put 8. And if it's 32, I'm going to do 6, 6. Okay, and 6. So I will not write anybody on here until I have submitted an actual application. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 6 is the goal. If I can get 8 in a day, that would be fantastic. If not, I will be okay. Yep, I'm going to get my other pen because, again, we do not like to use fountain pens against a ruler. If you've been here before, you've probably heard me say that. I always switch to my micron pens when I'm going to be using a ruler, and that's why it's not a good idea. It can be very bad for the nib to use a fountain pen against a ruler. So the micron pens are a really good alternative. They still write very nice. They are still permanent, kind of waterproof, smudge proof, all the proofs that you need. So they make a really nice alternative to using your fountain pen when you find yourself in a situation where you can't. Nice to have on hand. I use an extra fine fountain pen, so I find that the number 2 nib is pretty good. For that. And so we have got 5 days of the week there, times, 6 to 8 jobs applied for. It's a pretty good, again, because I'm not just randomly applying, I'm making sure that these are jobs that are specifically related to what I'm looking for, what I need. I'm going to look and see. So I'm going to use the little this week here, because this is going to be just this particular week. So this is from the primary extra bits sticker sheet. And I'm going to write in our days of the week. Monday, Tuesday, and I'm abbreviating. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, now I'm going to put in just codes for the, let's see. I want to also track whether I got asked for materials. So I'm going to put something for sent resume, sent portfolio, interview, and offer. So these are the different outcomes that I expect to have from sending these. And so I will mark. I'm going to use my Zig markers here. These are the dot markers, and I will just put dots over all of these if that occurred. So if I write in, a particular architecture firm that I applied to, maybe Gensler here, and then I send them the resume, I'll put a dot over the word. I'll put a pink dot if I send the portfolio or what have you. I think, let's see, I'm going to use this for a resume because that's the most common. And it will be the least intrusive color because ideally I want every single one of these jobs that I'm applying to ask for my resume. We will put the blue for the portfolio. We will put purple for jobs that have requested an interview and pink for jobs that have made an offer. There we go. That should keep me very well organized. Should know all of the different people that I have applied to and what the outcome was. So I think this is what I need going forward. I also wanted to I'm going to put another row below this I'm going to do a row and a half, I think. You'll see this will coordinate here. Just going to go that far. And then right here on this line, that far. And then let me put a little yellow highlight to kind of tie this together. And we'll put in, now once you start, I could do these vertical lines by hand, but I found that once you start with the ruler, it makes anything you do without the ruler look 100 times worse. And so just for seamlessness, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the ruler for the vertical lines. And I'm a little sad that I went all the way through here on the bottom because I wasn't going to do that. I was just going to have a title here on the bottom. So let us take this and we're going to kind of write over the lines. We're going to say networking. And I'm going to do that. I'm not loving this, but I'll be okay. So we'll add any networking opportunity that we find. If you remember, or even if you don't, we'll go back and look that I determined that I was going to daily apply to 6 jobs and schedule 1 networking opportunity. So I want to get 1 networking opportunity on my schedule every day. I haven't done that quite as well as I should, but I want to make sure that that's at the forefront of my brain and that I'm making sure that I'm looking for that. So if I find a networking opportunity, I'll add it here. So that should be good for my job search. I maybe should include a space for interviews that I have for the day. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I don't, and here's why. I don't, I could put on here that I have certain interviews on certain days, but I don't like to repeat information if I don't have to. And I'm definitely going to be putting the interviews here on my schedule for, to make sure that I am paying attention to when they are. So I don't think that I want it here as well. I think this will be fine for just job applications and recording what networking opportunities I found. So I'll just note the opportunity here and then I'll put it on the schedule. I may not fill in all 5 of these. I would like to, but we'll see. So that is how I'm going to take care of the job applications. And then I'm going to do another, maybe we'll start right here. And we'll say health. And wellness. I didn't quite leave enough room. I always just kind of do these on the fly. And sometimes it works really well, and sometimes I'm squeaking in these last couple letters. All right, so health and wellness. So let's revisit this. We are going to, what did we determine here in our last one? We determined that we're going to try and be asleep by 11. We are going to do our hypnosis every week or every day, and we're going to, all right, so let's write a list of the things that we want to be doing. And what that's going to look like. So I'm going to put here my targets. And how do I want to do this? Targets. Okay. I think I know. I think we're also going to do a chart for this as well. So this is going to be, I'm going to do something similar to my Alistair method for this. So I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This for the days of the week. This for the number of days I want to do the thing. And this for the thing itself. Right? All right. So let's kind of start writing these things in. This is the new habit. That's what we're doing. We're forming new habits. This is the number of days. And this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. So we want to start with the things that we want to do in the morning or first. I don't know. Let's go. We have meditate. We have hypnosis. We have yoga at home, we determined. Then we have a gym workout. And we have in bed by 11 p.m. Right? Do we have anything else on our list? Let's get back to that list and see. All right, so we have the gym and the yoga. Yes. We have got hypnosis, meditation. Yes. We're not going to worry about the meal plan, and we're going to work on being asleep by 11. Yes. Okay. Short, sweet, and to the point. Now, normally I would put this in my regular Alistair list, but I'm discovering that I'm not looking, because I'm looking back here for this job stuff, I want this to be triggered while I'm dealing with that. So this is these are my health goals. We'll put another thing for the wellness. So those are not necessarily fitness related items. And so I want to track those separately. So we are going to just very, very quickly. All right. Now we want to meditate. I'm going to do meditation 3 days and hypnosis 4 this week. I want to do yoga 3 days and the gym 2, and I want this to be done 7 days. So that's super easy. I was wondering, my brain was trying to make this way too complicated, and by just writing it out like this, it's actually quite easy to do. So if this is going to be 4 and we're doing every other day, and this is going to happen on those 4 days, and then the meditation will happen on the 3 that aren't that. The yoga at home is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The gym workout will be Tuesday and Thursday, and then every single day in bed by 11. And just like that, I have a plan for the week that is super easy to follow. I can just sit there and go, okay, it's a Monday. What do I need to do on Monday? Boom, there we go. And so I love that. I love that it's going to be super easy to follow. So those are new habits. And now I want to do some of the wellness things that are less fitness related and more wellness related. So these are going to be a bit more, these are kind of my non-negotiables, what I really want to make sure happens. These fitness goals, but then these wellness goals are going to be things that I think will improve quality of life. So these are the things that I want to make time for. And we'll put the number of days again. And the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday. And let's take a look back. So it's nothing on here because these are the fitness things. This is part of that wellness plan. But where I want to look is here. I want my morning coffee outside. I do know how to spell coffee. Morning coffee. I want my morning coffee outside. I've been really enjoying that. I've done that quite a few days. I want to add that I like to read while I'm doing that. So I like to go outside and have my morning coffee and do a little bit of reading. And I find that actually sets me up way better for my day than trying to hot foot it to the gym and do a really intense gym workout. So I like that better. Starting the day a bit slower. Again, mornings are not my forte, and trying to force stuff first thing in the morning has been very challenging for me. So we've got that. We've got, obviously, we're making time for date night. We always do that. And we're connecting with our friends because it's very important when you're going through a life change, especially things like a job search. People have a tendency to kind of cocoon when they first get laid off and kind of hide away. And I want to make sure, at least I do, and I want to make sure that that doesn't happen, that I'm still making time to make those connections. So I'm going to be connecting with friends at least a couple times during the week. And it's fall, so there's a lot of fairs and festivals um, to attend. So we'll make sure that we do that. I want to make art, so I want to have a night at least where I can do a digital art piece. I've been working on learning skills in Procreate, and so I want to make sure that I have time to do that. And let's see, I've been practicing with bread, so let's make a loaf of bread. And that is probably enough for this week. Let's see how that plays out. And if I need to add, I'm not going to do that bottom line yet, so that if I need to add something else, I can. But I think that that is going to fill up my week pretty well. And I don't want to overfill it because, you know, even though I'm laid off, I do still have some obligations. You know, you've got even cleaning the house and dishes and things like that that need to get done. So I can't just spend all my time doing fun stuff, even though I would like to. And I'm not going to put in the horizontals quite yet either. So the morning coffee outside, I want to do that 7 days a week if I can. Date night is one night a week. I'm going to connect with my friends. I think I already have that scheduled. So let me just check my calendar for next week to double check. Yep. I have 2 conversations already on the calendar, and that should be good. The fair and festival, I usually only do that on the weekends when my partner can join me. I'll make digital art one night, and I'll make at least one bread loaf. So let's see how this plays out. We do the morning coffee all of the days of the week. Date night is Tuesday. My conversations with friends are Wednesday and Friday. We'll do a fair and festival. Maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. That leaves me Monday and Thursday. So let's make the bread loaf on Monday, because then we'll have bread for the week. Actually, nope, I'm going to change my mind here, because we grocery shop on Sunday, and if my bread loaf doesn't turn out, then I want to be able to buy bread. So let's do the bread loaf on Thursday, and let's do the digital art on Monday evening. So that gives me one activity, kind of major activity each day of the week, and then my coffee outside. And actually, I think that sounds fine. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in the rest of the lines, and we will leave it at that. And by lining it all up together, I again have the ability now to just go through and see one day at a time. So I'll show you again how I do that. There. So again, you know, let's say I just want to see Monday. I can do that. When I get to Tuesday, I can just move this over like this. And these should already be X'd out, which means I know that these are the only ones left undone. If I forgot to do something on Monday, it'll kind of remind me that I might want to pick it up on Tuesday. I don't necessarily have to, but if I want to, that's an option. I am going to leave this bottom part mostly open for notes. But let's see if we can't find a little sticker here to kind of show all of my calculation efforts. There we go. So, the gears have been turning. I am working through problems here and investigating solutions. So let's do that, and let's maybe even one more over here. Let's do the little gears here. And that'll tie this whole page together. And now I will come back and I'll write, actually, I'll just make that a section here. At the very bottom, let's write notes. Okay, so now I have this section for, and I don't like those two little dots there. Let's get rid of those. There we go. Okay, so now I have my plan of action here for what I want to get done this week. I'm going to draw quickly with the ruler a little line after the 6 because, again, that's my target. And then if I get 2 more, I want to have somewhere to put them, but I really want to make sure I'm at least getting to that light gray line there, getting 6 submitted. And so I will work to get my 6 done. I'll work through these things each day, and that should put me on a good path for this week. I like that it's all going to be on one page. I can just open to this page and start going. If I have an interview, it'll be on my calendar. So when I get into, my work block, I can do the work things. When I get into, or my job applications, when I get into a health and wellness block, I know exactly what I want to be doing. And so when I go to do my plan with me live tomorrow, you're going to see how I'm going to try and incorporate some of these things, these activities, into my schedule. I'm going to do it very loosely because I did plan things into my schedule this week and they didn't really happen when I expected them to happen. So, next week we'll think about this, tomorrow a little bit more about how I want that to happen. So that is the follow-up to all of the chaos that happened when I was laid off. And then I made my plan. I executed everything in the initial stages of the plan. And now I am refining and coming up with this really nice, very neat spread on one page that is super easy to understand. So hopefully that helps some of you that are going through this transition time. You don't always have to have everything figured out right away. Just think about what you need to figure out to move forward and then get that on paper somehow. Then go to your next step. What do you want to see after that? What kind of plans do you want to make? Make a plan and then try it for a little bit. See how it works. As you can see, I didn't have everything figured out right away, and that's okay. But now I have another trial for this week. We'll see if this one works a little bit better. And I will work through this and talk to you guys tomorrow. If any of you want to join me live tomorrow, again, my name is Becky. I will be here live doing a plan with me. We are going to plan the week of September 8th to 14th. As you can see, right now I have nothing planned, but tomorrow we will plan this together. So join me 9 o'clock Central Time and we'll get that taken care of. Talk to you later. Bye.